I've got a project. I had a leaky toilet, and the water had damaged some of the subfloor. So what I did was I cut it out. You want to make sure to be able to make it across 3 joists. So 1, 2, 3. That way you have a good. You can secure this replacement piece of plywood well. I cleaned everything up. There was some liquid nails on here that I rubbed off with the scraper. I got that off. And most people might, because this flange overhangs, this is a 4-inch PVC, it overhangs, that must be about 6 inches, and so you want to get that supported, so you want to have plywood that is able to go under there. So what you could do is you could cut it off somewhere down there, and then replace that flange and that stick of pipe that you cut off, and then you could actually set a full piece of plywood in here and then drop a new flange down in there. I found that I don't know, looking at the hardware store, I wasn't really impressed with the new flanges that they have out there made of cheap PVC. So my flange is still good. I can clean it up. This house was built in the 80s, and so in my opinion, it's better quality stuff than what you can buy now. So I'm just going to hold it, or keep it. What I ended up doing instead, since I'm going to have to cut this piece of plywood into a couple of different pieces, I took a full piece and then I notched this out, and what I'm actually going to do is this will slide under here and this will slide back, create that support that you need for that flange, and then I'll come down and drop this bigger piece down. This will all be on liquid nails, and then I'll come back with some screw fasteners. I think I'm using 2-inch to secure it. So I'll do that, and then we'll come back to it. Another thing I'm going to add is, I'm cutting this piece of subfloor into pieces. This wouldn't work if you didn't provide some additional blocking. This blocking, I put one right here, a piece of blocking here, and then also in the back. And then I also ran another piece of, secured another, I think this is a 2x4 onto this 2x10, I believe it is. This will just give it another place for the fasteners to fasten to. But when these pieces here that I'm going to put around this flange, if you didn't have this blocking, this wouldn't work. And I suggest using, anytime you're around drains, I suggest using pressure treated wood, just because it's very likely that it's going to leak in the future. I would, if I had a full piece of pressure treated plywood, I would have used that for this entire piece. But I had a 3/4 inch piece of plywood that fit, and then I had some leftover pressure treated plywood. It wouldn't fit the whole space, so I'm just using it for the area around the drain, which is probably the most important anyways. So okay, I just got finished putting down some liquid nails for subfloors. You want to put a good liberal amount down. I may have put down more than you needed, but I had a half tube of it left over and I wanted to use it all up. So you put down all the boards. That's what's going to really secure that piece of subfloor to the ground, and the screws will be secondary, holding it down. Alright, so I just finished securing this subfloor down to the joist. I used 2-inch screws. I was going to do them on 8-inch centers, but since this board's somewhat small, I wasn't going to have enough screws, so I ended up doing 5-inch centers on them. When you're securing anything, really, this piece of plywood down, you want to start from one end and work your way in the other direction. That way, if there's any bows in your board, it will smoothen it out. If you don't do that, let's say you do all 4 corners, screw 4 corners down, and then let's say your board has a big bow in it. Once you get towards the middle, that board wants to smooth itself out, but because you have all 4 corners fastened, it doesn't have the ability to do that. So you're going to have like a, like a bubble, like a bow that could have been avoided. When you're doing it the way that I did here with the, I kind of consider this kind of a puzzle piece. Don't fasten the smaller pieces first. Do the big piece and then come back. That way, if this bigger board moves at all, you're not going to be restricting the board from moving by fastening these smaller pieces first. So do the large piece, then come back and do the smaller pieces, and that way they'll have the ability to shift. Overall, not too hard of a job, but it takes time. If you have one toilet, you definitely would have to do it faster than I did. So, if you like the video, let me know. Leave a comment. If you have any tips, or if you think the way I did it wasn't right, let me know. I'm always got open ears. So, thanks again.